Hallelujah. Knicks and 6.
Let's go.
Knicks and 6, baby. What episode is this?
25.
Whoa,
Yeah.
getting up there.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, who is that? iHus, can you? Hopefully, you guys can hear us now. Welcome to our 25th installment of Tequila Thursdays, sponsored by Brokers Connection, powered by Limit Capital, Fun Rock Capital, and also Leads to Closing. I'm your host, Darren Mills. To my right, the infamous bartender pouring all the shots, pouring the drinks. Who is this to my right?
Jose Martinez. I handle business development over at Lemon Capital, Fun Rock Capital as well. And to my right, I have
Sean McClellan, your favorite broker's favorite broker, Fun Rock Capital, mortgage specialist. Pleasure to be here tonight, folks.
All right, and then to my left, I have guy's becoming a regular on the show. Usually, he's got other things to do. He's always got some closures going on. But today, to my left, I have my boy
Joe Garan, Fun Rock Capital. Just love these non-QM loans. Love working with my investors.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. So this evening's format, because it's episode 25, all right? We're a quarter of the way to 100. This episode's going to be a little different, right? There's no true format for this, episode. It's really going to be just a discussion. Usually we have segments that we like to try to go through, try to keep it organized, try to stay on task, topic. Tonight, we just want this to really be just like an open floor discussion. We want you guys to tune in. We want you guys just to really just interject and, just turn your mics on and start talking. We really want to get a lot of feedback for just, really the current state of things in America. Everything that's going on with the tariffs, things that are going on with these new SBA regulations, and just, how commerce as a whole is being affected by everything that's going on, not only in the U.S., but just the world. Tariffs just dropped, markets are moving, your clients, they're confused. Some are celebrating, some are panicking. They really don't know what's going on. You've got 90 days to kind of make sense of the global trade shift that could either spark a boom or, leave your clients behind. Again, Tequila Thursdays. Tonight, again, we're going to try to break down, the biggest international shakeup of 2025 and, how you guys can really pivot it and turn it into a benefit of yours. Jose, you want to kind of, what's up? Sean Coleman, what's up, my man? Sean Coleman.
What up, Sean?
Sorry, brother. All right, Jose. So hold on real quick. You thought of this, and I thought it was a good idea because we've never had just like an open forum conversation thing. Anybody could just chime in, say whatever the hell they want. So why did you want this to be the topic tonight, and why did you want to kind of just break down the structure of the pod and wanted to be open discussion? What made you want to do this?
Well, it was everyone, in the back office, and I mean, just to get a better understanding of how the markets are shifting, but also too just taking current events, right, such as the tariffs. Tariffs is something that a lot of people usually talk about. There's a lot of social media where some people just don't know what a tariff is, but recently, which was on the 14th, as of May 14th, what ended up happening was that the U.S. tariffs and the Chinese tariffs, they actually dropped, right? The U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods, right, they were cut from 145% to 30%.
Damn.
And on the other hand, China drops its tariffs on the U.S. imports from 125% to 10%. So, I guess, does anyone know what a tariff is? I mean, Sean, I know we were discussing that. What is your take on a tariff, or what is a tariff? If you can explain it for.
Tariff is basically taxes on imported and exported goods, right? So it always has a trickle-down effect, regardless, and what we discussed before is, in the big picture of things, China is one of our main manufacturers that we go to. If you go shopping at Walmart, you go shopping at any major retailer, a lot of stuff on Amazon, if you look on where it's made in China. So ultimately, it has a kind of a domino effect, whether things are more expensive or things come in cheaper from China. They usually have a cheaper labor cost, and a lot of goods are made there, and they're less expensive. So the tariffs is going to have an overall impact on our economy.
Okay. Now, and I guess Joe, right? Who's over there, Joe? Joe,
I just did the whole. We just did the whole
I
introduction.
can't see him.
I gotta stand up behind Daryl.
Joe.
Like, whoop.
Joe, and I guess so that's what a tariff is, and I guess just what does it actually? How has it impacted the mortgage side? Right, we were talking about it before. You were talking about fix and flips.
Yeah, so maybe not as much the China imports, but I know tariffs on other countries like Canada, Mexico. A lot of the products that investors are, using for their fix and flips, wood, for example.
Materials, yeah.
Most of the wood we get is from Canada. So, there's tariffs on Canadian goods coming in. It's going to be those investors that are going to have to pay for that. Their scope of work, their rehab budgets are going to increase because the price of goods increase. So then their return on their investments are decreasing, So.
Is that why my maple syrup's more expensive?
I believe.
Maybe.
Tequila going to go up too soon.
Yes.
And your Canadian bacon, damn. Now,
It's just ham. Let's be honest.
the construction industry as a whole has definitely taken a bit of a hit in 2025. First we had we had the discussion. I think it was back in February. What was it? February, March, where they did like the mass deportations, which definitely slowed down a lot of construction jobs. So just losing workers. And then now with the price of materials going up, construction guys are just getting beat left and right.
Yeah.
It definitely, I seen on the business funding side, construction has always been like a high risk industry, right? But now even like the terms of some of the shorter term financing deals that these guys usually get, sometimes usually they'll go out a maximum of 12 months for a good construction company. Usually they like to stay around like the 8 to 10 month mark, but it can max out at 12 months. Now we're seeing, the construction guys really are only getting approved for 4 to 6 month terms. It's just very risky. The cost of goods are going up, and just jobs are not being finished. So a lot of these construction guys, they bill out 30, 60, 90 days, right? And, what happens if they take an advance from us and then all of a sudden the job just halts?
Right.
Now they're going to say, hey, we can't pay you guys back. We didn't get the check. We didn't get paid. So, construction guys are definitely getting beat left and right. Now, Sean, I know you have a lot of experience in the industry as far as, the real estate and the mortgage side. Has this ever happened to you before in which you've seen construction take such a hit by everything that's going on with the country since 2025 has began?
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously since COVID, like Joe mentioned, the price of materials, right? They definitely went up a lot. Lumber. So there's a lot of uncertain times going on, right? When it comes to the fix and flips, I mean, you can use this to your advantage, right? Selling the uncertainty. And you're not necessarily lying to the people because we don't really have a crystal ball what's going to happen at the end of the day. Price of lumber, price of steel, and price of labor can possibly, skyrocket. So when it comes to your real estate deal, it's something to lock in the client because we really don't know what's going to happen. It can, look, I'm hoping things work out for the better. I'm hoping that prices go down and, the real estate value goes up. But at the end of the day, we don't know. We can't promise certain things are going to be here next month.
Gotcha. Now, Jose,
Yeah.
you've been doing business financing longer than I have. I've been doing it for 9 years now, but I know you were doing it, I think, like 7 or 8 years before I did. Did this kind of what's going on in the economy? Did this kind of happen around like the whole like Big Bang in 2008 when like the whole country's economy kind of like crashed? Is this something similar to that event, or is it not really as serious?
Wait, how old do you think I am?
Oh,
Old enough to party.
So I'm sorry. Once again, your question was I was stumped about you.
Well, 2008, I graduated high school. I know that you were doing something with modifications and stuff back then.
No,
right?
No. 2008 was when the market the housing market crashed.
yeah.
Okay.
Right? That's when I think my man Stanley, you know what, he started
OG
getting
Stanley.
into the space, which gave him all this background now because he had to be able to pivot on different programs. Right. There's a lot of things that we speak about. But how is it from comparing their back then to now?
Yeah.
Honestly, it all depends on what type of person you are, right? And Stanley says this to me all the time, which is how do we see people see opportunity differently. Some people can run away from chaos. Some people can run into chaos, right? So it's right now with the tariffs, right? If it depends on what you're doing. If you're in sales, if you're selling money or you're presenting options, it's figuring out a way of how someone can take advantage of that.
Right.
Take advantage of it now before they take advantage of it now. Within these 90 days, that is this test period, right? This pause period. Within these 90 days, try to take advantage of obtaining your client the financing.
Yeah.
Right. Because think about it. You saw that it can go up to 145%, but now it's down to what was it? 10?
Right.
10%.
Better safe than sorry.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
100%. So just being able to understand that and how position would certain position would work for your benefit, it allows you to shift into a different type of mindset, right? Not a complainer, but just someone that's taking advantage of the situation where you're presenting it to clients as you know what, this is a benefit. Or if your position is presenting financial options to clients, now you can have a conversation with them, letting them know, hey, listen, you have 90 days to be able to take advantage of all this. And segueing into that, I wanted to know, because we spoke to the SBA earlier today with Daryl, right? And Daryl, what are the changes that the SBA is making? And it's, I guess it's next month, right? June 1st?
June 1st, yeah.
It's breaking news. It's breaking news.
There you go. Breaking news. What happened to the
Listen, we don't have a but what I do have is a no, seriously, guys. We spoke with the SBA today, and just some minor changes, I feel like, on our side, but real major changes on the consumer side. For us, I mean, really, we don't have to collect any more docs or any less docs, or the process for us on our side does not change at all. But on the consumer side, the people that are trying to get SBA financing, it changes a lot. Right. They have to jump through a lot more hoops. Usually, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, if you want to qualify for an SBA loan, what you have to do is you have to submit a bunch of documents, okay? You submit it to the SBA. They run an E-Tran. We don't have to harp on what E-Tran is again, but they're going to run the E-Tran, and then that takes a couple of business days. After that, if you're approved, a couple more docs that you have to get. After like 2 weeks, usually what happens is, if everything is if everything is kosher, you're assigned an SBA loan number and you're assigned an SBA closer. After that, pretty much about like a week after that, it closes. So usually SBA loans should reasonably take about a month to get done. Reason why it does take like 90 days, sometimes even 6 months, is because people don't have the documentation that they need. But if everything goes according to plan, you have everything closed in a month, okay? But these people from the SBA, from the government, never see you. They never, really ever even, talk to you. And you can get $500,000, $1 million. But because the government was beat so bad by people taking money illegally with COVID, EIDL, PPP, all this stuff, now what Trump has done again is we tightened up regulations. So now, if you are trying to get anything over $350,000, the SBA is going to require you to go to your local bank and try them out first.
Yes.
Right? Now, the SBA is a 10-year term, a couple of points above prime. And for the most part, I think anything over $1 million, sometimes you have to pledge some kind of collateral or something in some cases. Now, if you go to your local banks, they're going to require you, in the majority of cases, over a certain dollar amount, probably, depending on your local bank that you go to, probably anything over $350,000 that you want, they're going to require you to put up some kind of collateral, and it's a 5-year term. It's SBA is double the term. So you're going to have to go to your local bank first, bring there's no portal to upload stuff. You have to bring the documents to your local bank, okay? They're going to go through their underwriting process. You have to sit down. You have to meet with them. It's more hoops that you have to jump through.
Yep.
And you don't really get the 10-year term. You get a 5-year term. Now, if you get denied...
Wait, Daryl, let me ask you a question. What if they're set up with us? Can they just send us over the file and we use our bank relationship to submit the file?
It depends. if we have a bank relationship within 50 miles of your home address. Okay? But if not, then you're beat. You have to just figure it out and you have to do it on your own. We could take care of that for you guys if you guys are within 50 miles of a branch of the relationship managers that we have. We have tons all over the country. So that's something that you have to inquire about with us, or just submit your clients and we'll take care of it for you. But on just the consumer side, what we're like, let's just say you're not within 50 miles of a branch, and we can't help you remotely, then you're going to have to go, and you have to go to these places. You have to show your docs. And then, again, the only way that you can then apply to the SBA is if you show them proof of a couple of denial letters that actually shows that you yourself put the footwork in. Now, that's as of June 1st. So once Jose and I...
That's 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that's right around the corner.
Once Jose and I got that information, we instantly reached out to a lot of our clients that we currently have in the SBA portal. Currently, right now, sitting there for months, because these guys don't want to up. Because every month that goes by that you're sitting in the SBA queue, you have to provide new documentation. Everything's got to be updated to like the
current
week.
month.
Yes, right. So we've had people sitting in there since October. We've had people sitting in there since February they're slow playing it, and makes no difference to us. You can take an MCA, we'll get you funded tomorrow. But if you want that 10-year term, you're gonna have to come up with some documents. Okay, so we reached out, and literally today we sent the message. This morning at like noon, Jose. By 4 p.m., our guys that have been sitting in the SBA queue, we have one that we have for, I think it's 2.5, not 2.75. It's 2.5. $2.5 million where they're refinancing the current SBA, and they're refinancing $1 million in MCA debt. Okay, that's one deal. The guy sent everything in right away. Then I had two other ones that I had two for 500,000. Guys immediately sent their docs in. Now, didn't really beat them up because they were waiting on tax returns, so they probably just got their taxes done. But really, that message, that message we said, hey, listen, everything is changing. It's going to scare people, right? That's not what we want to do, but that's the whole point of tonight's conversation. Is it going to be a good? Is it going to be a bad thing? Is it going to shock people? Is it not? So we just have to try to navigate the landscape. But that's what's happening with the SBA. Sorry for the rant. As of June 1st.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean,
Joe,
if they need I'm saying if the borrower needs money, you know what I'm saying, and they're waiting for that SBA, it really comes down to like is the time of the essence? How soon do they need it? We can help them get funded way sooner. So they have to come to reality. You're helping them by bringing them to what's going on in the world. And, everybody dreams of having that SBA loan, but we can still provide you the next best thing, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And I will say this, just again, on the business funding side, because of this whole debacle with the tariffs, we have seen a lot more MCA submissions or revenue-based funding submissions. People are just trying to get as much money as they can right now because of the uncertainty. And I mean, that's going to be good for us. It's going to be good for you guys because you guys are going to be the ones submitting the deals, right? So it's going to be lucrative. But you can't make it seem like you're not empathetic of what's going on, because these people that are applying for money right now are terrified, realistically, right? So now you kind of have to be more than their broker. You have to kind of be their friend to hold their hand and guide them through this scenario, because I spoke to somebody today. It's like, hey, listen, if these tariffs go back up after 90 days, probably going to have to shut down, close doors by the end of the summer. Now, the summer is this guy's busy season. He should never panic, right? So the fact that he's panicking during the busy season is just insane. So you got to be a little more empathetic, got to be more like their friend, and really just guide them through. But reality of the situation is people should borrow as much as they can now, because we really don't know what's going to happen.
Right. I mean, you got to be calm through the tariff storm, right? Clients aren't buying capital; they're buying clarity, right? As long as you can present to them a roadmap of how they're going to overcome this situation or this time that may alarm them, they're going to be pleased. They're going to be a client of yours moving forward. Whenever they need money or capital, they're going to go ahead and rely on you because you're the expert. Think about it. Hedge funds are now moving quicker, right? And they're moving quicker because they want to position themselves differently. There's a couple of hedge funds that we work with that's what they're doing. They're figuring out how they can put out as much money as possible within the next 90 days, right? And I guess, Joe, just to get you involved a little bit, because over there you're pretty quiet. Can't see you yet. Is so on the mortgage side, tell us a little bit about what's going on the mortgage. Are interest rates going up? Are interest rates going down? Do you what do you foresee after the tariffs?
Honestly, I haven't really seen a change in the rates. I know in Florida, price values are dipping a little bit. They were on a steady increase for a while, but yeah, some lenders are not as lenient in Florida either. They're not giving out as much for construction or fix and flips. But even like you said, like when it comes to getting funding, like I have an accountant that sends me a lot of deals for business funding. She said she's sending me 4 new leads next week.
See,
People that want credit cards, people want bank lines of credit, whatever they could get. But on the mortgage side, it's really, I always think it's a good time to invest in real estate. If you wait on the sidelines, you're missing out on equity.
That's right.
So you're saying that property values are dropping in Florida?
Yeah, there's a lot of issues. For one, there's a lot of condos in Florida, and I know you guys remember a couple of years ago a condo collapsed in Florida. So now there's a lot more regulation. They need
HOA fees, right?
Yeah, they need to make all these repairs, and HOA fees are skyrocketing. So that market has slowed a little bit. And during COVID, everyone was moving to Florida. They kind of slowed down as well. So prices were probably a little inflated there. So
Yeah, it's correcting itself.
it's correcting itself. But for the most part, I feel like prices are staying around the same. I'm not seeing people overbid as much as in the past, where you get like 10 offers on a property. If property's going for $800K, it ended up selling like for $950 a couple years ago. I'm starting to see, homes going for what they are worth.
Correct.
They're staying on the market for a little while. They're not, it's not a fire sale like it was in the past. So
now, Joe, let me ask you this, because this is something that I know that you guys just really started pushing heavy on the Fund Rock side of things, gap funding, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now that's something that you guys have always offered, but I know now you guys are pushing it more than ever because the price of goods are up.
I always push gap funding because it's like some people need cash to close. They need cash for reserves. Some loans they want to see 3 to 6 months of reserves, meaning payments. So after they put the down payment, closing costs, you still need another 3 to 6 months of mortgage payments in your bank account. So I've always, for anyone that needs it, I try to get them bank lines of credit. I have like 2-3 deals right now. I'm trying to get them lines of credit so they have some more cash.
Right.
And what we started also rolling, we were talking about it before, is that there's a tariff relief program that we're trying to put together, right? Which is just being able to use your revenue to get you approved so you can purchase additional inventory.
And that's regardless of your credit score, right?
Correct.
Correct. Gotcha.
So it's just going to be based strictly on your revenue.
Business revenue, right?
My apologies. Business revenue, based strictly on your business revenue. Credit score, it does play a factor as far as how long you're going to have the money out for, but it's strictly going to be based on your revenue. Now, it's going to be structured similar to let's call it a line of credit, so to speak, where you can get approved for X amount. If you pay it off early, or if you pay it off on, you have no issues making payments, you are able to qualify for additional funding for those 90 days. So now I would even say that even taking something revenue based, you want something short term so you can maximize how much money you're going to have access to over these first 90 days.
You know what, Jose? I think people should start incorporating this into their pitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Into their pitch. You guys really should start saying, hey, listen, this capital is going to help you win the next 90 days, not just survive them. Okay? We want to win the next 90 days. We want to be able to maximize every single program that we have. We want to make sure that right now, while our revenue is good and not really taking a hit, we're going to try to get the maximum dollar amount. If our credit's shot, no worries. The revenue is going to go ahead and take us, to the next level to go ahead and get the financing that we need, for these next 90 days. Now, again, Jose, if they take something short term, there's incentives for them to pay off early. Is that correct?
Yes, they actually would receive a discount. So you're incentivized to pay off early because they want to make sure that because it's unsecured. That's even the better part. It's unsecured, means that there's no collateral, doesn't appear on your personal credit report, the debt.
Yeah.
So now, because it's unsecured, there really is nothing registered to it. to that debt. It's unsecured. They want you to pay it off early. How do they do that? They incentivize you by giving you a discount when you pay it off early.
Yeah, and now's the time for them to take advantage because look, if these tariffs go back up to that high rate, everything's gonna be more expensive. So they now have that extra capital, buy everything in bulk at a technically discounted rate, and now increase their profit margins.
Question I had
Yes.
on the bank lines of credit.
Yeah.
So we always need to see business revenue for bank lines of credit, or is it like I know over 720 score low utilization. Is that enough for a line of credit?
So you have to are there stated lines of credit programs, right?
Or not stated either, where it's just a credit score. Like you always need some stated business revenue.
So
to get a bank line of credit.
you great question, because that's something that we've actually worked with a lot of different banks to understand how we can put programs together. So anyone with a 680 plus credit score, we are able to go. We do have the option to do a stated business line of credit, but it's in certain states. What I would love for you to do is go into the community. You're going to see it on your products. You're gonna see it on there. If not, what we're gonna do is speak to the
Florida?
to the
Florida?
community.
Do we do
No, not just in Florida.
that is one of them, though. I know
one of them.
No, he's in.
I got it.
Yeah, he knows. He knows.
So we do have stated business lines of credit where they do not have to provide tax returns, nor do they have to provide bank statements. It's not a business credit card.
That's stated.
It is a business line of credit.
And they just need a 680 for that.
680 score. Now, we have another program. Actually, this was just in Florida right now, where if they are not cash flowing, let's assume that their business bank, that for whatever reason, because of the tariffs, your business has dropped. You're not showing that much revenue. However, last year, you did over $100,000. Showed the profit. We do have a program only in Florida for right now, where we can go ahead and get you a business line of credit only using your business tax returns for the last year.
Wow.
And an application, obviously, but that's it. No bank statements, no 2 years personal, no 2 years business, only 1 year, which is last year. A business line of credit. Once again, 680 score, only in Florida for right now.
Nice.
Then, I guess it was just stated, right? That was a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are able to do a business line of credit.
Really quick, because I think Joe's a little confused. What does stated mean, Jose?
No, I got it now. Yeah.
You got, well,
I wanna hear it.
Well, just for everybody out there, because you guys might not know, what does stated mean, Jose?
Well, stated just means that you're writing down the information that's relayed on your bank statements, right? Whether your bank statements or your financials, you're stating what your income is for the business.
You're not showing.
You're
not
not showing
verified,
it. Exactly.
right, not
Yeah, perfect. Yes, exactly.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're stating what that is. But remember, you have to have a 680 plus credit score. Your overall credit utilization has to be 20% or lower because you need compensating factors. If I'm not presenting bank statements, what's going to compensate for that?
Yes.
If I'm not presenting tax returns, what's going to compensate for that? Also, too, I don't want to ruin the surprise, but just to let you know, there are two national banks,
Surprise me.
right? I'll leave this. You guys, the affiliates ask us. There are two national banks that do have stated options. However, you must have a bank account with them.
What are the banks?
I'm not telling you.
Oh, secrets.
You got to pay for that.
Mm.
And they have to be open for at least 1 year.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And you'll be surprised because no one is offering these programs. We were fortunate enough to have access to these, but there are two national banks that are able to do this. But the bank, once again,
Want a relationship?
you have to have a relationship with them. You have to have a business bank account open for at least 1 year and no negative days. So there cannot be any negative days.
Like zero or like maybe
Zero
one month?
negative days.
None. Okay.
Just
Zero.
to give you an example, I had a client. Her deposits were $3,000 last month, $10,000 the month before that. However, she's in real estate. She holds average daily balances of $100,000.
Yeah, it's
It
fine.
was between 130 and 100,000.
She can like whatever she wants.
She was able to get approved for a stated business line of credit for $75,000.
Wow.
Right, and sometimes you have to provide tax returns. You have to provide bank statements showing those deposits because she had the relationship, because she was a pristine client for them. We were able to go ahead and approve her for $75,000 business line of credit. And as I mentioned, it's a national bank. I was surprised. I was not a believer until we got the approval because we deal with these banks on a day to day. I'm sure you even know who these banks are. You probably see commercials of them.
Probably drive by them.
Right. I've never heard of this until we spoke to the right person and they were able to introduce us to that relationship and that program.
But you know what it is, Jose? Especially when it comes to like these bank products, they change month over month.
Yeah.
So whenever, like, unlike the cash advance industry or unlike the mortgage or the real estate industry, these business loans or these lines of credit or sometimes just other programs that the banks offer, they change month to month depending on the financial climate, depending on world affairs. They just come out with stuff.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, like,
You just have to stay in the know.
you have to always stay in the know.
Now, mortgage banks switch up too.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say, "Hey, we could do 12 units," and then next quarter we only do 8 units. Some do more, some lower the credit requirements.
Some have higher leverage out of nowhere.
Yeah, some lenders used to give
Creative.
us 75 loan to value. They're giving us 85, 90 now. So it does switch up a lot.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
That's why it's important you guys tune in every week to keep up with the latest news.
That's it. And also, too, just make sure you join the community. We're starting to go ahead and put a lot more information within the community. You just have to be attentive to it. Set on the new notifications because there's a lot of new programs going on. A lot of bankers that we're speaking to on a day-to-day. A lot of relationships.
And that's something to say to clients too. If you give someone good terms, be like, "Hey, next quarter, like, don't wait, don't shop around 3 months because this may not exist anymore."
Correct.
That's it.
You know, guys, one of the I want to do like just like divulge some stories really quick, right? Because like I said, it's gonna be like a discussion. We really don't have any roadmap to follow. But one of the things that I did want to ask you guys is, you know, just like I shared how like a couple of people came back today to me for the SBA. Have Sean and Joe, have you guys had clients reach back out to you within like the last 2 days specifically that didn't want the money or didn't want a project done in the winter, but now they hear tariffs, they hear all this, they're coming back? Do you guys have anything to share?
Yeah, 100%. Joe and I have been working with a client probably since late December, early January. And, you know, Joe and I have been working very closely with her. Large apartment building. And, you know, we had a nice pre-approval for her. And like Joe always likes to say is when we give them pricing, you know, maybe they give a little pushback. And he says, look, I encourage you to shop around.
Yep.
And he called it. She came back.
Joey G.
Joe, why don't you give a little more detail on how...
Yeah, it's a 56 unit in Memphis. You know, her score isn't great. Her score is like in the 560s, 570s, but we're able to get her 50% LTV. You know, the points weren't too bad, but she was complaining she wanted to pay 2 points. And I'm like, you know, that's reserved for certain clients. You know, I did the best I could, but I told her, like, honestly, these are the best terms you're going to get. And she kept pushing back. And I told her, listen, you know, I want you to go to other banks, go to other lenders, go to people you've worked with in the past even maybe.
See what's out there, yeah.
See what's out there, see what comes back. And then, yeah, literally yesterday, she was like, yeah, we're ready to move forward now. 3-4 months later.
Out of the blue?
Literally, I mean, the tariffs, maybe, you know, maybe she was watching the news and she's like, oh my God, I need to jump on this while I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, she reached out yesterday after 3 months of silence, like, ready to move forward now.
And we have that confidence to say, go ahead, shop around. You know what I'm saying? We're that confident in the rates the deals we're able to provide people. So yeah, she shopped around. But the thing is this too, a lot of times they do that. They come back to you and then, you know, things aren't going quite as well as they were.
Yeah, they're in worse shape.
And they want the same deal.
Same deal.
Right?
Yeah.
She asked for better terms, so you know now she has a higher vacancy rate, and she was like, "Yeah, I want better terms this time around." I'm like, "Yeah, we'll see about that."
Now, I also want to ask you mortgage guys something, because I know that on our side, the business funding side, like, I'm a big yesterday's price is not today's price person.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if I speak to you and I want you to take this deal now because I know it's the best deal and I give you the best advice, and then you pretty much tell me I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, I'm going to go figure it out on my own. When you come back, I make you feel it. I don't know if you guys do that on the mortgage side, but like for me, like if somebody comes back And I'm gonna tell them exactly what happened last time. I'm gonna ask them what the hell happened.
Right.
Like I'm gonna want them to tell me why they're back, because it's a humbling experience.
Yeah.
Because now you're coming back to me with your tail between your legs, right? You told me I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. You knew better.
Yeah.
Cool. Go figure it out. Now when you come back to me, it's not just gonna be as easy. Okay, now I'm gonna take the deal now. Hell no. Hell no. You
What
want
they have
this?
to do?
They're gonna have to do some
They have
serious.
to pay an extra point.
They're gonna have to do some serious. No. So listen. So a couple different things. We charge service fees for our service, right? Sometimes the service fee might go up, but other times it's just I just want to humble them a little bit because, like I said, business owners are arrogant. People suck up to them all day, every day.
Nobody tells them no.
And nobody ever tells them no. So for me, humbling them is like a little bit like a get back, but it shows they're gonna have to respect me. Because now when I tell you something, you have to just shut up and do what I say, unless you wouldn't be on the phone with me. You should be on the phone with somebody else. Correct. If you come back to me, I'm gonna, and not in like a mean way, but just like a little jokey. Oh, hey Bob, hey, oh, you're back. What happened? That $300,000 line of credit didn't go through? Those guys lied to you? Great.
And I think going on to what Daryl was saying,
Touch me.
going on to what Daryl was saying, is just tequila. No, going on, just adding on to what Daryl was saying is knowing your value. That's one of the biggest things that a lot of brokers, a lot of professionals, a lot of people in the space don't go ahead and translate over the phone or translate to their client. Know your value, Bob. It's okay, like he said, what I do a lot of the times is I tell the client, listen, before you make a decision, it sounds like you're uneasy. I don't want to waste your time. Go to the bank. You're telling me the bank is going to give you a better deal? Go. Because I need you to exhaust that option before you come back to me. When you come back to me, you can't even say no. You understand? You're going to know that I'm giving you
the best
approval, right? The best approval out there.
Nice disclaimer.
Giving you the best.
That's it. And just like Joe, just like Sean, and that's it works in every field, in every industry.
Yep.
It's knowing your worth, right? And most people would do this. I mean, I knew a guy back in the day. I think Joe knows the same guy, where the guy would actually go ahead and just think that to earn a client, he had to lower his fees. Right? You know that guy, right, Joe?
That guy's a fool.
Drop his pants.
So Jose, what you're saying is that person would kind of like
his value. Yeah. He didn't. I don't even want to say believe himself, but it was. He felt as if he had to lower the fees in order to keep the client. When
no, I don't think that's what it is.
No?
I think he lowered his fee or the points so that he would gain future business from the client. This guy would always say something along the lines of, listen, I'm not going to beat him over the head with points because this guy says he's going to send me 3, 4, 5, 6 more deals. Yep. So, I mean, I want to do.
Do we know the same guy?
I want to do right. We do know the same guy.
Oh.
I think it was the same guy. He got he got a couple purchase contracts and whatnot.
Yeah.
So.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, it was Joe.
Joe's that guy.
Joe's that guy. But
now you, Sean Comey. I see you, Sean Comey said that to me. Joe.
Yeah, man.
But Joe, can you tell us a little bit about that experience as far as to did that work? Did that not work? What's your strategy now? Because I know you've changed your strategy or you pivoted.
I definitely have.
So tell us a little bit about that before we get back into the tariffs.
I would say just more experience knowing the market. Like now at this point, I know what another bank is going to offer.
Know the competition, right?
I know exactly what another term sheet will look like. So, if I get pushback, that's why I tell people, listen, go to that bank. Good luck. Oh, you got a term sheet with 2 points and 90% LTV? That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
God bless you. I hope everything works out great.
Godspeed.
If anything, if you need anything or that deal doesn't come to fruition, I'm here. And then 2-3 months later, 4 months, everyone comes back. Most of my clients in the past said, no, I got 1 point and 5%. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. You should take that. And then
doesn't exist.
They always come back.
But you know what? The majority of the time that they do come back is because clients want guidance.
Yeah.
Sell clarity. Sell the clarity of the situation, not confusion. We don't want to confuse people, put them in a spin cycle. We want them to know what their best options are. We know we have the best option. But if you don't want to take our expert advice, go figure it out yourself. Listen to the guy that's going to lie to you, that's going to try to make you take something or bamboozle you or bait and switch you. Go figure it out. And then when you come back to me with your tail between your legs, I'm going to make you feel it.
Yeah.
and then we'll fund you, and then we'll be friends.
Right.
But don't not listen to me now. Come back with a worse situation, expect a better deal, and expect for me to be the same gentleman. It's not like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to respect me as an expert. Trust me, these lawyers out there that are charging $2,500 an hour, $1,900 an hour. You don't think that if they say if somebody says I don't want to pay that, I'm going to go elsewhere. If they come back, that price is not going to go up. Yesterday's price is not today's price. There's a reason why that's a saying right now, and that's the truth. Know your value.
Right.
I thought it was because of the tariff.
I thought it was because Fat Joe said it, but whatever the case is.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're going to have clients that they're getting, bamboozled by other brokers, or they're going to try and bamboozle you and they're going to fish. They're going to throw out there some other offer that is not realistic and think that you're going to drop your pants, and that's the importance of knowing your competition, knowing what's realistic out there, right? And then, like Joe says, go ahead. We're confident, right? We're confident that they're going to get the best rate. We know it exists out there. We know what we can do. So let them go ahead, shop, and 9 out of 10 times they're going to come back and they're going to, with their tail tucked between their legs, and they're going to take it. But yeah, know your value. Sell with confidence. Sell with confidence that you're going to provide them the best, possible option out there. And we're going to earn them for life after that.
And also,
I'm sorry for laughing. Sean Coleman said take it. I mean,
Take that.
also too, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that we do, one of the things that I do during my mentorship program, right, is
tell us what you do.
so we go ahead and speak to them. So, well, listen, information is knowledge. No, listen to me. Information is knowledge. I'm going to tell you why. Because they already saw that, right, because of the tariffs. Tariffs were at one point 105%.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
145.
145. 145. So now, what I do to everyone is, okay, when you speak to the client, tell them this. Let's run a quick scenario. What was your profit margin at 145%? What's your profit margin now for these next 90 days? Right? You're from 145.
I like that, Jose. Yeah.
Love that for you.
That's what they got to pay for that.
How much is that mentorship program?
It's coming out. It's coming out.
Jose Martinez.
So listen,
package.
100. So just you do that exercise, Bob. No problem. He's giving you a hard time. Okay, no problem. Let me ask you a question. So what were the tariffs before? Oh, if you don't know, okay, let me tell you what they were. They were at 105%, 145%. What was your profit margin there? He'll tell you it was XYZ. Okay.
Oh, so, Jose, let's role play.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Ready to role play?
Me, man. I need to
You don't have to grab your tequila for this.
Mr. Jones.
Yeah,
Okay? Yes. How are you, Mr. Martinowitz?
Mr. Mills.
How you doing? No, what?
Martinowitz.
So okay. So he and I already spoke. He's a client.
Yeah.
You know what? It's now I'm calling him back.
Yep.
Hey, Mr. Jones.
What? Well, hey,
What's going on? How you doing, Jose Martinez?
Jose, what's up, bro?
Nothing much, man. Just wanted to touch base with you once again. As we spoke before, last time you were concerned about the cost of the funds that we were gonna provide you.
Yeah, man. I mean, your rates were just way too high, man.
100%. Now, keep in mind, I just want to reiterate: when we spoke, your credit score was at a 500.
Yeah.
Your industry is something that really isn't that favorable right now. However, I was able to get you $100,000, regardless of what the cost of the money was. And at the time, you mentioned to me that because the tariffs were at 145%, you were unable to make your profit margin. There was only a little bit of money that you were going to make.
Yeah, it can't crush you. And my deposit dropped a little bit.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you know that was actually on pause now? Do you know that it actually dropped from 145 to 30%?
Pause. For real?
Yes.
I don't watch the news. Okay, so what are they now? What are they now? They dropped from what, 145% to what?
To 30%.
Damn.
So
okay.
Now let me ask you a
You
question.
still have that? They still have the 100K for me?
I don't know. I got to see if everything. Remember, we spoke last month.
Yeah.
So I have to figure out if everything is still aligns. If obviously your sales are up to par.
Well, I mean, listen. I was doing I was doing about 200K, and then last month, because of the tariffs, my deposits dropped substantially. I only did 80K last month. Would you still be able to get me a 100,000?
Well, let me ask you a question. What would be the dollar amount that you would be able to actually, number one, purchase whatever goods you were going to purchase at the time and still make money? What's the minimum dollar amount?
I'm in manufacture. I manufacture cabinets, like kitchen cabinets and stuff. Usually, my cost of wood is, Come on, Stanley.
We're talking about cabinets.
Usually,
right?
my cost of wood materials for the cabinets usually
Lumber.
are like $5 a yard. They skyrocketed to almost like $20 a yard. So I couldn't complete most jobs, and that's why I was at 80K. But I mean, 100K you could do for me again, right? I mean, it's right there.
If everything you told me your sales have dropped, but that's
Yeah.
besides the point. Let's assume I can get you still that same dollar amount.
Okay.
How quickly do you sell these products?
Usually we sell probably about like 500 cabinets a week.
Okay, so if I get you the money today, you purchase the equipment or the inventory, whatever you're going to purchase.
Yeah.
How fast is it out of your hands and sold?
I could move a couple of hundred cabinets in the next 2 days before Sunday.
Next 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay. So what if I were to go ahead and remember the reason why is because your credit score is 500.
But is the cost of capital still going to be that high? I mean, man, tariffs are kicking my butt. But you said they're low, though, right?
The tariffs are lower. The cost of capital is still the same. But I'm glad you mentioned that. You want to know why? Let me show you. So before at 145, you were at 145%. The cost of goods were taxed at 145%.
Yeah.
Now they dropped down to 30%. You want to do the math with me? XYZ, boom, boom, boom. You crunching numbers, whatever numbers those are.
Yeah.
Okay, so your profit margin just went up from this to this. Now, regardless of what the dollar amount is, you understand that you only have 90 days in order for you to take advantage of whatever of what's going on of this. Let's call it a reduction or let's call it a discount.
Yeah.
In the tariffs, because after this, we don't know what's gonna happen. Now, you can tell me, hey, listen, I want to go to a bank. I want to try to get money.
No. I need this money before I mean, listen, if you tell me the tariff's lowered, I mean, I'm going to want to get you what you need by tonight, so can I get the money tomorrow? Is that possible?
Well, you know what? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The reason why is because last time I called in for favors and we weren't able to get stuff done. Right? Now let's do this just so that we can be proactive. Send me driver's license, voided check, proof of ownership. Because I want, number one, if I'm going to go back to the lender that approved me and I'm going to ask them for the same or more money and your sales dropped, I want to be able to show them a commitment. So if you show me that you're committed by sending me this over, I will make sure that I fight tooth and nail for you to be able to get you the exact dollar amount.
Tooth and nail?
Tooth and nail.
Okay.
Exact dollar amount so that now we can go ahead and wrap this up and I have the money in your account within 24 hours.
Let me see your nails. Teeth?
Teeth.
He's gonna fight for me. No. Honestly, bro, that was fire. And the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why he kept bringing up my credit score is because you cannot complain about the cost of anything with a 500 credit score. You need to be happy that there's even money being offered.
Yes.
Right? You walked into Chase, Wells Fargo, something like that with a 500 credit score. I mean, you could open up a checking account. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're not getting any money from them, so
and also too is don't just because the sale is there, don't just go, oh my God, yes, I can get it for you.
Yeah.
Yes, I can do this. You really don't know. But get a commitment from him or her. Understand what is okay, so you're serious. I just came back to you. I presented something to you that I did before. You weren't able to take advantage of it. You weren't going to make that much money. Now you can. I want a commitment from you. It's not just a yes, and I'm going to run to the lender and get it done. No, show me you really want it. Commit.
And you want to know why? Because I don't know if you guys remember the scenario, but really quick, I'm a manufacturer. If you don't think that these lenders know the industries that are being drastically affected by these tariffs, they know that. Mm-hmm. So the lender is going to know, hey, we had this guy approved for $100,000 last month. He told us to go, now he's back. He went from 150,000. He went from almost 200,000 a month to now he dropped to 80. He dropped more than 50%, and now he's coming back. The lender knows that as well.
Yeah,
that term's going to be different. That rate is definitely going to be higher. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's not going to get the same dollar amount. So just like what they said, don't run. Don't act like, hey, I'm going to go get this for you. No, because this guy's probably going to get approved for like 50, 60K now. And that 100K is not on the table anymore.
And give yourself value. Give yourself the documentation that you need, because with a lot of the short-term funding, it's not who gets the contract out. It's who gets the signed contract first.
When they come to you, make sure that you have the programs for them and make sure that you know where to place the deals. And ladies and gentlemen, just got to let you know, again, this is episode 25. We are headed to episode 50. Yep. We are looking to have an amazing summer with you guys. Hopefully, there's more of you out there that's going to be like Isaac, that's going to make $3,000 in a week. Should have been 5. Deal got cut, but hopefully, you are going to be the next person that's going to make the $3,000 on the deal. That's going to send over more clients.
There's no reason why you shouldn't be that person.
There's no reason why you shouldn't. Again, we're your Brokers Connection hosts. I am Darren Mills. This is my boy Jose Martinez, Sean McClellan, and this is Joey G. We're not here for a long time, but we're here for a right time. Ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week to episode 26. You guys have a very nice evening. Watch the NBA playoffs. Go Knicks.
Let's go.
Knicks and 6.
All right.